Okay, so we are going to go ahead and start with her undercut. I have sectioned her off. This is something in which you will have to kind of, with your guests, like play a little bit. I have learned over doing this with most people, actually. I used to be a little, I was a little nervous. So I would tend to not go as high with the undercut. But I have over time kind of learned, I feel like it may not be like all the way to their little, like their temple area. That I always call this the coldest like area. But I do tend to go a little higher. That way they can go ahead and have a cleaner and higher. And then it also eliminates a lot of that hair. The reason why too is people can get really thick right through this area. And in turn you eliminate that. So it's really nice because you're not fighting it, not just today, but again, like I always say, like through the haircut's life, So that's what I've kind of enjoyed about it. So I'm doing a number 2 with her. And we're just going to take it. I don't really do too much arching out with this for the hairdressers. You'll know what I kind of mean with that, meaning like you don't round it. I take it pretty clean and tight all through there. And reason being is, again, if you round it, you're going to have a little length, and then that length will inevitably end up giving it a little volume where she's not probably trying to have that. So,
and would you change that with finer, thinner hair or not? Would you go as high?
I would, my whole theory is I always crawl before I walk. So when we say that, you literally, when I say, oh yeah, maybe not as high, it's like a ½ inch down. So it's really not that big of a deal. And if you start off a little bit on that lower, like it's not detrimental. Like, oh gosh, they're still going to get the same look. It's more of the longevity of the haircut that I have found why I like to go a little higher. So I would say be a little safe. You can always take that clipper back out and go a little higher. You know what I mean? Rather than they leave and go, oh my gosh. So it's a bit more of my style. Yeah, you just take it up here in the back. She has her where the occipital bone starts to go through here. Today we did decide that we have enjoyed it a little bit higher. Again, this is something in which she was learning by wearing this style as well. She did kind of like, so we go a little higher here, and then we go ahead and let that hair over it just fall, and then we'll play with the length after that, because you can see a little bit more of the kind of dramatic side of the haircut, a little bit more like that. Mm-hmm. So that's what we kind of do there. Give it a little nice and cool. And again, take up, because if you kind of round this out like this, then what's going to happen is these longer ones will remain longer, and then they will give a little volume, which not a bad thing, but we've learned with her, she has such thick hair that it kind of gives itself, being so short already, its own volume. So we're going to minimize that a bit today. All right, so then after that, and now remind me, we like a bit of an angle. Yeah. That's a big one on the undercut as well. Find out what shape here. I like to keep it a little more feminine and do more of a bit of an angle, not like a huge point, but I kind of take the comb and kind of just pull it back a little bit. It grows out nicer that way. But I do have some people who do like it more straight. So that is a question to ask also. Or just take note on their little photo that they showed you. Oh, they showed me 3 really pointy ones. They might like it a bit pointy.
I think it adds to my cheek contour.
Yeah, right? And then a lot of times too, even though I've already kind of pulled this forward, I just kind of make sure there's no little long ones. That happens. She does like it a little cleaner here. So what does that mean? I like to use the clipper to where you actually see a little bit of her skin a little over the ear when she leaves. So that way when she comes back, it hasn't grown so much that it's like hitting her ear. Another thing we do on her back, on her hairline, we've kind of evolved into, we kind of enjoy more of a little bit more of a, like a point. So I kind of, I don't do like a major point. It's more like her hairline kind of naturally goes through that. So as you can tell, I've already done this side. And then this side, she naturally kind of has like a nice little, it goes that way. So what helps is when you cut this like corner off, and then we kind of fine tune this center, it naturally, she doesn't have to deal with as much hair coming back. And then I think she said she has a little handy dandy tool. She might do a little cleanup herself. Not everybody I would trust. I just kidding.
Yeah.